We need to disrupt the status quo that the British left us in terms of our farming arrangement. So yes, up to 1976, 78, the tonnage of groundnut was going up, but the farmers were still impoverished. And to date, rural farmers are still impoverished. And peanuts, like I said, it's peanuts. Someone growing 15 tons of groundnut at $70,000 or 10 tons of groundnut at 70,000, at most he makes 700,000. So cash crops should change as the global agro-business evolves. Today, and this is highly controversial, but Gambians should be very open to look at it at a broader perspective and see opportunities. You have proximity to Western Europe. You have a good weather condition, good soil. So why won't Gambia not invest but encourage our farmers to get into greenhouse farming to grow medicinal marijuana? And when I say medicinal,
you made this controversial.
No, it's not controversial. No, it's not controversial. You know what's controversial? Perception. The perception, when you say marijuana, people think of smoke, people think of hopelessness, and what else it causes in the country, health or otherwise.
Well,
and that is the smoking aspect of it. I am not saying legalize marijuana. I'm not saying let people in the country smoke. No, I'm saying allow farmers to grow high-grade medicinal marijuana, whereby a kilo can be sold for $3,000. So now a farmer who can even grow 10 kilos twice a year can now take his or her son to any school. But now there is there's what you call safeguards. It's the responsibility of government to create safeguards. How are these safeguards going to be done? One, supervision at the growth site. When somebody grows something, they package, government has seals, they're sealed just like how a container is sealed, and they facilitate the exports from their farm through the airport to whatever pharmaceutical. And here is the economics of it. What people smoke in the country, no one can sell. At most maybe $60,000 is a kilo. I don't even know, I'm just giving a hypothetical. So now, do you think a farmer who has an opportunity to sell something to a pharmaceutical in England for 2,800 pounds will sell that same kilo locally for $60,000? The answer is no. So therefore, it's not in competition with what's locally, and it's not being grown for people to smoke. It's being grown as a cash crop to be exported. And now it's government's responsibility to create not only an environment but parameters of how these things are going to operate. Everything in this world comes with risk, but someone has to mitigate this risk.
Let me tell you the madness of your idea. Sorry to use that. You already know that even legitimate, and I'm not talking about illicit products, even legitimate goods in this country, you know, the chaotic nature of their importation and the legislation around them, you know that. Let alone something that is not acceptable, a contraband,
but contrabands can someday change not to be contrabands.
I understand.
And historically, if you understand historically,
but you invite in chaos.
But can I tell you?
We don't have
there's another crop. There's another crop very close to marijuana called hemp. You don't.
Which is another.
It's the same as marijuana, but you don't get. No, it's not a drug. You smoke it, you don't get high. But
really?
Guess what? It's used to make rope.
Are you talking from experience?
No. I'm talking from literature.
Okay.
Hemp is used in military products, naval products, ropes for boats to anchor. It's used to make a lot of things. In America, a state like Kentucky, the biggest, highest hemp producer, and their farmers are making millions. And guess what? When the health consciousness of Americans start getting higher, and tobacco use starts dropping, states like Virginia and Kentucky, where highly tobacco farming states, they transform their cash crop from tobacco to hemp. And this wasn't used for medicinal use, it was used for military use and naval use, making ropes and others. Likewise, the Gambia. The cash crop we've been having predominantly hasn't really uplifted people out of poverty. And it's time we look at other means. But the conservative nature of Gambians and sometimes our ignorance is leading us to shut doors without looking what's beyond the door. And all I'm just saying is I want to provoke a discussion where Nari, allow me, Nari today, let them not even talk about allowing people to, but let them get strains from Holland, from the Caribbean, grow and test and see the prospects. They're not selling or anything. You have an agricultural research. Yes, it's illegal, you're not growing. Grow it and burn it, but look at all these strains that are available and see what kind of yields you can have. Then you can advise government. My point is, let us just not be too conventional, because the cash crops that we used to grow, such as groundnut, it was not for our need. It was for a need of a colonial.
Good.
Now we need to find something that suits us and that will uplift our farmers out of poverty.
But I'm telling you that from our very nature right now, marijuana is the last in that list too, because it's going to be chaos.
But you're still looking at something I'm not looking. I'm not talking about growing marijuana for people to smoke.
Medicinal, but
I'm talking about growing marijuana, bulk packaging it and sell it outside.
But where do you cut the difference? Which is medicinal and this is what is smoked in the streets everywhere?
If today you have a farm, you have 4 greenhouses of 50 meters by 150. You're growing inside. Technology is available whereby I can put CCTVs in your thing. I can but my point is there are a lot of ways to mitigate the risk that or perception that a lot of people have. But the thing is, what you don't know or what you haven't tried, you cannot come up with assumptions. But we dare, Gambia need to dare to be different, we dare to dream, and we dare to be disruptors. A country need to disrupt, and we need to disrupt our agro business.
Well, the kind of disruption you're asking for is to bring chaos. And
but who said it's going to bring chaos? That's an assumption, but that assumption is not tried and tested, and this is the fallacy. I'm not championing marijuana, but my point is, we as a people, because of our stereotypes, we shut doors before we see what's beyond the door, and we need to look.